Good morning to all respected panelists, educators, and everyone present here today. My name is Norshailina Adawiyah binti Romi, and I am truly honored to moderate today's forum titled Active Learning Strategy for Effective Teaching. This discussion brings together various voices in education to explore how we can make learning more engaging, inclusive, and meaningful for all students. As we know, education today must go beyond chalk and talk. Students are no longer passive listeners. They want to participate, question, create, and collaborate. That's where active learning comes in. It is a teaching approach that places students at the center of their learning, allowing them to build knowledge through experience and interaction. Today, we will explore several important aspects of active learning, such as different techniques used across various subjects and age groups, how it helps students with diverse learning needs, the role of families and school leadership in making active learning successful, and how all of this connect with the broader goal of ensuring quality education for every learner. With us today are four wonderful individuals who will be sharing their experiences and insight. First is Miss Hasha Farhana, a classroom teacher who brings hands-on classroom experience. Mrs. Jonah Lua Jeffrey, a special education teacher who works closely with students with diverse needs. Mrs. Agnes Morang at Moro, a parent who actively supports learning from the home. And lastly, Madam Nur Ainun binti Rahim, a school principal who plays a role key in driving whole school improvement. Each of our panelists will respond to a question related to their role. I invite everyone to listen attentively and reflect on the practical ideas and strategy being shared. So let's begin the discussion with our first panelist. First, my question to you, Hasha. How do you implement active learning in your daily classroom lessons? And how do these strategies support students with varying levels of ability? You may share your thought now.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. First and foremost, I would like to extend my sincere greetings to our respected school principal, fellow panelists, special education teacher, parents, and our student moderator. Thank you for the warm wishes, warm welcome, and I'm truly grateful for the chance to join in this forum. It's a meaningful platform for us to learn, reflect, and support one another in improving our students' learning. Now, to respond to the question, as a classroom teacher, I see active learning as a powerful approach that places students at the heart of their own learning process rather than simply delivering content. I focus on creating experiences that involve thinking, doing, discussing, and reflecting. In addition, active learning also allows students to explore, experiment, and construct their own understanding. In my science classroom, usually our lessons begin with a real world scenario in order to relate it with the topic I want to teach them that day. One of the recent topic we explored was water pollution. So instead of starting with a lecture, I asked my students question like, if we had to clean up a polluted river near our school, what would we do? That question sparked curiosity among them, and from there, students will move into small groups to investigate water samples, conduct experiments by using simple filtration methods, and present their solution. This type of learning bring content to life and build skills beyond the textbook content such as teamwork, communication, and problem-solving skill. Now, when it comes to students of different ability levels, active learning offers a natural solution for inclusion. One of my key strategies is differentiated group tasks. For me, as a teacher, I carefully group students by mixing abilities and assigning clear roles within the team. For instance, a high achiever might lead the experiment, while other student manages the data. And a quieter student will present the conclusion using visuals. By doing this way, it ensures that each student contribute in a way that build on their strength and support their growth. This approach also supports SDG4, quality education, because it promotes inclusive learning. Everyone has a chance to take part and learn at their own level, which helps all students feel involved, respected, and supported in the classroom. Other than that, technology is also something I use to support active learning. For instance, interactive quizzes, virtual labs, and educational apps allow students to learn at their own pace. To elaborate that, this type of activities benefit students who need more time to process information while also providing enrichment for the fast learner. Another aspect I emphasize is student reflection. After activities, I ask students to reflect in learning journal or during class discussion. For lower ability students, I might provide sentence, status, or picture prompts. For higher ability learners, I encourage critical reflection such as evaluating the effectiveness of the group work or suggesting improvement to the experiment design. Moreover, active learning is also about student voice and choice. I allow students to select project topics or the format of their presentation. Either the presentation will be in a poster form, a video, or a live demonstration. This autonomy motivates students and allows them to express their understanding in diverse ways. To sum up, active learning is more than just doing activities. It's about creating a classroom culture where students feel safe to participate, make mistakes, and learn from one another. It supports learners across all ability levels by encouraging cooperation, personal responsibility, and deep engagement with content. When we design lessons that are hands on, minds on, and heart on, we are not only teaching knowledge, but also we create learners who are confident, creative, and ready to thrive in a diverse world. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Hasha. That was a practical and meaningful example from the classroom. Now, let's move on to special education. Mrs. Jonah, here is your question. What are the most effective forms of active learning activity for students with special needs, and how do you adapt them? Please go ahead, Jonah.
Very good morning to the panelists and educator and all attendees. I'm honored to be here today to contribute to this important conversation on active learning methodologies and how they can promote student-centered learning environment, particularly for students with special needs. As a special education teacher, I have been firsthand how active learning can be a game changer, not just as a strategy, but as a pathway to inclusion and equity fully aligned with Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is quality education for all. Here is why active learning matters. Active learning is more than just a buzzword. It is a philosophy of teaching that center on engagement, participation, and meaningful interaction. For students with disabilities, this approach provides opportunity to learn in way that match their unique strength uh, through doing, experiencing, and reflecting. It moves us away from traditional one size fit all lecture model and toward a flexible, adaptive environment where students are not only recipients of knowledge but active contributors in their own learning process. Next is the effective learning practice. The next is the effective strategies in practice. In my classroom, several active learning methods have proven highly effective. First is the hand-on learning. By using real objects or manipulatives help students grasp abstract concepts. For example, role-playing daily routines or using tactile tools in math. Second is the visual support. We use charts, graphic organizer, and step-by-step visual. This helps students process instructions and retain information. Third is the learning stations. These strategies allow differentiated activities where students can rotate, work independently, and develop various skills at their own pace. Fourth is the gamification and role play. By turning lessons into games or social simulations, this increase engagement and build communication skills. And lastly is the peer interactions. Structure collaboration with classmates promotes not only learning but also social inclusions and empathy. These strategies are not just effective, they are inclusive, personalized, and student driven. And for the teacher adaptations and support, of course, for active learning to work, it must be accessible. This means simplifying language, um, using assistive technology, offering alternative formats for response, and creating friendly environment. Adaptation is not about lowering expectations. It's about removing unnecessary barriers so every learner has a fair chance to succeed. How do I do this? I work closely with therapists, families, and co-teacher to ensure this environment is responsive to individual needs. These collaborations is essential to ensure that learning remains both meaningful and achievable. Lastly is the connection to SDG 4. Active learning directly support SDG 4, which is call for inclusive, equitable, and quality education for all. This including person with disabilities. It reinforces the principles that the educations must be accessible, empowering, and lifelong. Inclusion is not simply about placing students with special needs in mainstream classrooms. It's about ensuring that they have the tools, voice, and support to truly participate and thrive. Active learning provides that foundation.
Thank you, Mrs. Jonah. Your ideas show how powerful active learning can be when adapted exclusively. Next, we'll hear from the parents' perspective. Miss Agnes, as a parent, my question for you is how do you view your role in supporting your children's active learning at home? You may begin, Miss Agnes.
Thank you for having me today. As a parent, I've seen a big change in my children. Since their school start using more active learning strategy like group work and class presentation. Before that, they just used to listen and write in class. But now they're more involved. My daughter enjoy working in group and my son love when he get to share his idea in class. I can see that they're more confident now. They even talk about the school lesson with their friend outside of the class. And I believe this kind of learning help children grow, not just in their study, but in their communicate, teamwork, and thinking skill. It makes them more active and no passive learning. But as a parents, we sometimes feel left out of the process. We want to support our children, but we need more communication from school. If teacher can inform us earlier about the project or group assignment, we can help at home. For example, we can help them for find material or idea for their presentation, encourage them when they feel nervous or unsure. Also, we can teach them how to manage their time and plan their work. Because this active learning need more self-management from students, and sometimes that's hard for them, especially when they are young. They need a guidance, not just from teacher, but also from us, their parents. I also think it will be helpful if school could organize short season or send simple guidance for parents to show how they can support this new learning method at home. In my view, parents are just a cheerleader, but we are partner in our children education. When school and parents work together, our kid feels support, confident, and ready to dive into active learning. So the answer to the question, I believe my role as a parent encourage, guide, and assist my children in their learning journey, especially when it's come to group tasks or independent learning. But for us to do this as well, we need more include and informed by the school. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnes. That was a heartful reminder of how learning continues at home. Finally, let's hear from a school leadership perspective. Madam Ainun, here is your question. What initiative has your school taken to ensure teachers are consistently and effectively implementing active learning? Please share your experience, Madam Ainun.
Thank you for the question. As a school principal, I believe that active learning is essential in preparing students for the demands of the 21st century. More importantly, it aligns closely with Sustainable Development Goal 4, which promotes inclusive, equitable, and quality education for all. At our school, we have made a firm commitment to ensure that active learning is not just an occasional practice, but a consistent and meaningful part of our teaching and learning culture. One of our key initiatives has been the transformation of classroom environments. We have redesigned our learning space to be more flexible, incorporating areas where students can conduct group discussions, perform experiments, and present their ideas. This dynamic space encourages student movement, collaboration, and ownership of learning. This approach grounded in the principles of constructivist theory, where knowledge is actively constructed by learners through experience and interaction. Educational theories such as John Dewey have long emphasized that learning happens best when students are engaged in real life, hands on tasks. In addition, we have prioritized continuous professional development for our teachers through structured programs such as lesson study and professional learning communities. These platforms enable teachers to collaboratively plan, observe, and reflect on their lesson. This cycle of action and reflection directly support Kolb's experiential learning theory, which highlight how learning occurs through concrete experiences, reflective observation, and active experimentation. Through this process, our educators are able to refine their practice and better meet the diverse needs of their students. Equally important is the involvement of parents and the wider community in supporting active learning. We take it a point to inform parents early about student project or inquiry-based activities so they can assist with preparation and provide encouragement at home. Um, this partnership between school and family is inspired by Vygotsky's social development theory, which stresses the importance of social interaction and collaboration in the learning process. When students receive consistent support from both teachers and parents, their confidence and engagement increase significantly. To ensure sustainability and continuous improvement, we also gather regular feedback from students and teachers. This helps us identify what works well and what needs to be refined. Of course, challenges such as time constraints and teacher workload exist, but we are addressing them gradually by fostering a culture of shared responsibility, resource support, and ongoing innovation. In conclusion, we see active learning not only as a strategy, but as a long term investment in building a school community that is responsive, inclusive, and committed to quality education. By integrating innovative teaching practice with strong theoretical foundation and by aligning our effort with SDG 4, we aim to nurture learners who are confident, collaborative, and prepared to thrive in a rapidly changing world. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you once again to all our panelists for their thoughtful response and valuable insight. What we have heard today is not just theory or opinion, but real experiences from the classroom, from school leadership, from the perspective of parents, and from the special education field. These experiences have clearly shown us that active learning is not only possible, it is impactful when implemented with care and purpose. It can transform education at every level. From the classroom, we saw how teachers can design meaningful, hands-on learning activity that encourage students to think, ask questions, and collaborate. This strategy not only helps students understand concept better, but also build their confidence and independence. From the special education perspective, we will remind that true inclusion means adapting learning to suit the needs of every child. With the right support in place, such as visual, sensory tools, and simplified instruction, students with special needs can actively participate in and thrive in their learning environment. From the perspective of parents, we will remind that learning doesn't stop when school ends. Families play a crucial role in supporting their children's education. When schools communicate well and involve parents from the beginning, students benefit from a stronger support system both at home and in school. And from school leadership, we've seen how creating an environment that supports active learning is a whole school effort. With supportive leadership, flexible learning space, teacher development programs, and community involvement, we can build a culture that encourages innovation, inclusivity, and student empowerment. All these ideas come back to Sustainable Development Goal 4, which emphasize inclusive, equitable, and quality education for all, as well as the importance of lifelong learning opportunity. Today, discussion has clearly aligned with this global vision. We've talked about real ways to make learning more inclusive, more engaging, and more responsive to the need of our diverse students. Let us now ask ourselves, what can we do next? How can we bring this idea back to our own classroom, schools, or community? How can we continue to collaborate as educators, parents, and leaders to ensure that no learner is left behind? The key message is this: active learning is not a trend, it is a mindset. It is about putting the learner at the center, giving them voice, responsibility, and the opportunity to grow, not just academically, but also emotionally, socially, and personally. In closing, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all panelists for sharing their experience and perspective so openly. Your voice have added depth and clarity to this discussion. I also thank everyone here today for being part of this meaningful exchange. Let us take this inspiration and move forward together to create a better, bolder, and more inclusive education for all. Thank you.